up,
You all
and the sound quality is kicking.
good to go.
Better than last week.
Ready to rock and roll? Are we
Go ahead,
all
Dave.
good on all
go.
fronts? Hey everybody, welcome to the Team Powerhouse show, live with you every Tuesday night. This week we have a very special guest, as always, Mr. Tony Cuomo, who's running for first selectman in the town of North Haven. Eric Vasquez on your far right, David Lamel here. Thank you so much for joining us on all the social media platforms. If you have any questions while we're doing this show, please do not hesitate to ask, and we will try to respond as we do. If we miss your questions, Tony and his team will be going back into the social media feeds and getting back to you. Does
Well,
that
tonight's going to be important. We want questions.
we would like as many questions as
Yeah,
you can.
we want participation.
Absolutely. So if you're a resident of North Haven, if you know Tony Cuomo, if you're familiar with anything to do with the, well, let's just get into
Well,
it.
let me ask you a question. Do they need to know the password before they can
Before they
No.
vote. All right.
before they
so,
can ask a question?
No password.
Tony Cuomo running for first selectman of North Haven. Tony, let's talk about who you are,
Okay.
where you're from, little background on you.
Thank you. Thank you,
Absolutely.
David and Eric. I appreciate the opportunity to be here tonight. Appreciate the opportunity. Tony Cuomo, longtime resident down in North Haven, family man, successful in business, my whole career in the IT business, information technology business. Currently own 9028 Cocktail Club in Brantford.
The 1928 Cocktail Club. in
Successful
Brantford.
business owner, and I come from the business world, and I coach Little League Baseball, Max Sinaway, one of the best programs here in North Haven, one of the best programs in the state, and I just enjoy helping people and looking for my next journey. Decided to get into politics, even though I am not a politician, but I want to help people, and that's why I decided to run for first selectman here in beautiful town of North Haven that I love very much.
So obviously there's some things that are going on that you're not really comfortable with, that you don't like the way that things are running.
Correctly.
You'd like to see some changes being made. Have you any previous experience in politics?
Zero.
Which
First
is
time.
not a bad thing at
First
all.
time.
I mean, you don't have to have experience to do well in politics. We've learned that before.
Totally.
And the purpose of this podcast is for what?
Well, the purpose of this podcast, I'm making the announcement here, as we already
The
said.
official
You guys are hearing it
announcement.
live.
First time. This
First
is the,
people to know
this
about
is the
this.
kickoff of my official campaign to run for first selectman, challenging the incumbent who's been in for 8 terms, 16 years, to a primary, which will be held on September 9th here in North Haven. So look out for that. Come out and vote. And I have some very strong policies and feelings how we can help the town of North Haven, the people of North Haven, help all the residents of North Haven. That really is the goal.
You know, one thing I'll say about politics is most of us don't know a lot about politics, but we often see the same person in these positions for years and years and years and years. And I've always questioned that personally. I mean, a president can only be in there 8 years, but you can be involved in other areas of politics in the state of Connecticut. And I can't speak outside the country, the world, whatever. But Connecticut and, let's say, the United States, you could be in this position for years. And that seems and sounds and feels a little bit wonky because how much more control do you have by being there longer, and the fear and the relationships that people have around you that may fear not being a part of your group because of not being available to do what they want to do again, right? Versus having a chance to get somebody new who's fresh with great ideas, right? And have the opportunity to build a better, newer, more exciting place. Is that okay to say that out loud?
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
So what motivated you to decide to run for town?
Yeah.
For
Well,
selectman?
what motivated me was that really to help the people in North Haven who are really getting hit hard with tax increases. There was a 2 mil increase 2 years ago, 2 mil increase last year. This year we're facing reevaluations, so there'll be most likely, we'll find out in July, a tax increase for the 3rd year in a row. So I decided to run to help the people, especially the seniors of this town who are on fixed incomes, who just cannot afford continued taxation. You continue to tax and tax and tax and tax and spend and spend and spend. You're going to price people out of this town, make it very difficult for people to pay their taxes, make it very difficult for people to have the quality of life that they like to enjoy. So I decided to run, to put the brakes on that, to stop the taxes. And when I'm elected in November 4th, which will be election day, I guarantee, not promise, guarantee there'll be no tax increases the first 2 years. I guarantee it.
We as realtors now, taxes play a huge role for buyers today who want to buy a house. And with the prices of homes going up continuously, about 10 to 15% minimum a year, at some points in some towns, 20% a year. When a buyer's looking to buy a house, the taxes play the greatest role in their ability to get qualified. Eric,
100%.
we say it all the time. Like the mortgage broker will ask, "Well, what are the taxes on that house?"
Right.
And it's not like they're buying a McMansion on a house. Usually it would be like, okay, based on square footage, based on land size, the mill rate, blah blah blah. They come
Well,
up with a tax.
it can be the factor that determines you're going to a different town. You're going to a town with
Absolutely.
with lesser taxes.
You might move to Wallingford, which the taxes are significantly less than North Haven because of the taxes.
And can I pile on one statement there?
Yes.
Here's another statement. You're a couple, you buy a house for the first time, you have your mortgage set, it's in the escrow payment every month, right? You could just make that payment, you qualify, you're in the house, you're happy. Next year the taxes go up, and they go up again, and they go up again. And now it becomes unaffordable for you, and now you're cutting your quality of life to pay the property tax. That just is not fair. And people could look at me and say, well, how can you guarantee not raising taxes? Efficiency, okay? I'm gonna look at the budget, every line item of the budget. The budget this year at Town of North Haven is $128 million. And that's for town and the school system, okay?
$128 million.
So, now,
Wait, hold
people
on.
also gonna say, one second.
128 million. Sorry, that's a lot of
It's
money.
not money. So people say, well, Tony's going to cut services. No, I'm not going to cut services. I'm going to get more efficient. I'm going to look at everything. I'm going to take the way I run my successful business, 1928, and I was successful in business my whole life and my whole career. I'm going to apply those principles to the budget, to the efficiency of running this town. No more tax and spend. Look at everything. Look at ways to save money. Bring in businesses to develop. The existing administration, one thing they've done successfully is to bring in new business into the town. But I need to accelerate that and bring in more businesses and create more new revenue for the town to offset any tax increase.
So are you in favor of bringing in some of the businesses that you're talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Would they be getting any tax incentives or any tax breaks in those cases?
That depends on each situation. I'm a negotiator.
Great question.
And great question, absolutely. I'm a negotiator. I've been successful negotiating my entire life, and each deal will be looked at as its value to the town. If it's a win-win situation, win for the developer, win for the town, we do the deal. If it's not a win-win, then I will say no.
Yeah, because I would imagine the larger the company, the more employment, the more jobs they're going to bring to the area. They're going to bring business to the area. Because you got a business that's opening up with the shop of 3 people, no
Right.
big gain
There's
there.
a lot of empty space in
But
North Haven
Amazon
to
comes
build.
into
Right.
town and you've got that many employees, guess what? They're all eating lunch outside of North Haven there.
Right.
They're hitting Washington Avenue
Right.
and they're spending money up and down the street here, so.
Antonio's and
Yep.
all the other
Now,
restaurants.
Eric, you mentioned Amazon. The existing administration, fantastic. That was great for the town. But it was great for the town. It raised a lot of revenue for the town, yet taxes continue to go up.
Right.
You know, the current administration has basically driven this town into a ditch, and Tony Cuomo, who's running for selectman for down North Haven, is a tow truck. I'm going to get the town out of this ditch and on the right path forward with efficiency and balancing an appropriate budget each year without the lunacy that's in this budget right now.
So your call to action to alleviate some of these issues include
Well, my call to action is to, number one, look at the budget and scrutinize every line item in the budget. That's the school side and the town side. Look at everything and see ways, evaluate everything and see ways we can, in the town, save money, okay? And, reduce these budgets. and stop these budgets from continuing to grow every single year. See, here's what's happening. You have a town budget, and you have the school budget, okay? So put them together, that's the budget that's requested to the finance department in this town, right? Now, the grand list brings in this much money. Okay, we'll raise taxes. That's not the principles of business, the running the town efficiently. The right way to do it is, here's your grand list. Here's your budget. Let's make it work to provide all the services we provide now at a very high level for this much money. Just like all of us have to do in our own town, our own personal lives and families.
Or bringing more business to the town, so therefore there's more
Exactly.
income. And you know what? Bringing more business to the town helps out everybody.
100%.
It helps out the people who live in town. It helps out jobs. It helps out also bringing new people to come visit, et cetera, et cetera. So, Anthony, say something.
No. I was just gonna have a question. You said the incumbent has 8 terms. How long's the term? Is it 2 years?
2
or
years, 2-year terms.
2 years?
Yep.
Okay, so it's 16 years.
Yep, this
Okay.
is the 16th year.
Okay.
Well,
I'm wondering if anybody's considering any kind of like term limits or anything.
No,
No?
unlimited.
Unlimited?
Just like the Senate and the
what's
House.
that?
Yeah,
Your question out
questions.
there?
Congress.
Yes, I got James Bolger. He said, "Is he a Repub?"
I'm a Republican, yes, absolutely.
And
That's why
Jimmy
the-
Bolger, great question.
That's why it's going to be a primary. I'm challenging him to a primary.
And then Danny said, "Tony, taxes are killing our economy nationwide. How are you going to lower taxes? How will the mill rate go down at 32.65? Last time the mill rate went down was decreased from 2018 to 2020."
Wow,
Yeah. Okay.
good question.
Here's where I look at it. The mill rate right now is 34.64, I believe. There's a reevaluation that's going on this year. So everyone's property went up on average 35%. Okay? So now the mill rate is going to be reduced, okay, because of the increase in the property values. It needs to go down to 26 to ensure there's no tax increase. I did all the calculations. I'm an engineer by education. I know numbers. Okay. Now, if the mill rate is raised, is lowered to like say 27, for example, that's going to be a 1 mil increase. The 1 mil increase is going to be even more of an impact on folks because the 35% increase in your property values. Okay. So what I'm guaranteeing is whatever the mill rate, which I have no control over, I'm not in charge this year. In July, the mill rate is going to be lowered. What I'm saying is that mill rate is going to stay flat. It's going to be a flat mill rate for my entire term, the first term.
Well, hopefully that you have a chance to be in this term, another 8 terms, if you will. Or, I mean, I at the same time, it just boggles my mind that anybody in any type of political place in this country can have that many. There need to be some kind of term limit. And I mean that in the most positive way, because you need new, fresh blood
Exactly.
to make changes.
So when was the last time your opponent was challenged?
Well, he ran unopposed in the 2023 election, and this town is so red, it's a Republican town, the Democrats, or like 25% of the town is Democrat, cannot win an election. They decided no one wants to even bother running. So the last time he was opposed was in 2021 and wins by a landslide.
And he's Republican?
Republican. Yeah.
Okay, so it's kind of
Interesting.
It's kind of weird to hear that he's a Republican and not fiscally conservative,
Exactly,
which is
100%
which is usually what's associated with that party.
Well said,
And
Eric.
that's probably why Jimmy Bulger asked that great question
Yeah.
as to what's going on with being a primary.
Well, when you hear primary, it's usually within the same party.
Which
Right.
it is.
Yes.
Republican to Republican. Yeah. Because the thing is, I'm a Republican, I'm fiscally responsible, I'm a centrist, I'm in the middle, I'm for all people, to make sure all people are taken care of in this town. Seniors, school system has some issues as well. I want to make the school system the best it can be. The fire, the police, we got to protect the town, we got to protect the students. I have plans to protect the students. If we can't protect our students, what good are we as a culture? Okay, what good are we as humanity? And then we have a grammar school problem in this town. 20 years ago, we built a beautiful high school, one of the best high schools in the state. About 10 years ago, we built a beautiful middle school, one of the best middle schools in the state, all on the same campus, okay? And it's protected. We have 4 grammar schools that were built in the 1950s with no air conditioning, okay?
With no air conditioning.
No air conditioning. So 4 months out of the year, August, September, May, and June, these students sit in these hot schools, 90-degree heat. 90-degree heat. It's been going on for years, and there's no plan. All I heard at a town meeting a couple weeks ago, we're talking about garbage cans, and which I don't want to bring that up. It's a very
We should
emotional
talk about
topic
the
for
gar-
him.
We should talk about the garbage.
Is
cans.
there's a study going on. Study. All these years, I have a plan for new grammar schools for this town, state-of-the-art schools with phenomenal air conditioning, and they're going to be fully protected. One campus for the entire town. That's my plan.
How will you work in tandem with the current town structure?
Well, I'm a phenomenal team player. I'm a phenomenal leader. And I will work with everyone within his organization, the existing organization, once elected. And we sit down in committees. Like one of the first committees I'm gonna build, which I'm gonna lead, is looking at every single part of the budget. Some of the budget is fixed. You can't do anything about it. Like the retired folks that earned that retirement money, that's fixed. Certain salaries are under contract that you can't manipulate. So we're going to go through and have a committee and look at everything and work together as a team. I'm going to work with the board of education runs the school system, right? I don't have any say over that, okay? But I will work very closely with the people that run the board of education that are on there to make sure the teachers have everything they need and the administrators have everything they need and the students get the best possible education because that is so important as well. We're going to protect them as well.
So let me ask you a question. Do you foresee in the first 2 years that you're going to have to do anything with any new contracts, police, fire, or anything like that?
Yeah, that's to be
I
determined.
don't know how often that's going to be negotiated. So they may be on a 10-year contract right now, and
Exactly.
they're in year 3, so
Right.
that's farther down the road.
Exactly right. Exactly
But
right.
do you have anything in the first 2 years that you foresee is going to have to come up as a contract?
I don't know. That's something that I'm going to have to take a look at
Right.
once elected. There's two things about me, folks, that are in North Haven and thinking about change that like what I'm saying. Two things about me. One, I know what I don't know. Two, I'm honest. Okay? And three, I'll add one thing to that. I'm a business person. And I'm going to take my business principles that I've used successfully my whole life and apply them to the town. Not a political view, but a business view of the town. Because what is the town? The town is a business.
One of the things about you, though, is you've been here for what, 35,
37 years.
37 years living in North Haven,
Mm-hmm.
so you've seen a lot
I
that's
have.
been going on in policy, in structure. It's not like you just came out of the woodwork from somewhere X and moving into town and want to change things. You've seen a transgression, is that the right word?
Sure.
Of what's been happening over the last 37 years. And North Haven has a great reputation
Sure does.
for many reasons, and it's so important. Obviously, our office is here in North Haven. We do a lot of work in real estate in North Haven, amongst as well other towns and cities. But in North Haven, the school system, as you keep talking about, is everything to the value of your homes.
100%.
So when you have an exciting school system and nuances that are going to happen with a school system, that gets people excited. That makes people want to buy in here. And that also gives people who are selling property more value to their homes.
100%.
The tax thing we have to really focus on, which is one of the biggest things you're running on is taxes. And a lot of people, first-time home buyers, right? Let's talk about that. First-time home buyers versus people who are now looking to sell. And maybe they don't want to move out of North Haven. You have an idea of where to put them and what to do with them.
Yeah, actually I do. You look at it,
So we talk. So the seniors, speaking about seniors, they want we need them to sell their homes,
Exactly.
so we can have new people come in. So what's your plan?
so I'm a business person and I know how to negotiate and I want to bring in developers to bring certain qualities to this town. One of the ideas is to bring in a developer that'll purchase a piece of land or existing buildings that will be torn down and put in senior housing. Beautiful senior housing for our seniors, where the seniors will now be able to sell their houses and not have to do any maintenance, so they can get their money for their houses, and then they move into this beautiful senior development. Now, that house that they sold now becomes available on the market for other folks who want to be, say, first-time buyers that want to get into the market. So that's a way to keep the real estate moving in the town. The other idea I have is bring another developer in, or the same developer, to develop housing for starter homes for the millennial age group, which is basically 28 to 40 years old, who wants to buy the first time home. There'll be smaller footprint houses so they can afford them, get in there and get started and have a great quality of life that we all enjoy in this town. Because I love this town and I'll never leave in this town. And I want great quality for everybody. So people need to come into this town, see the value of this town. And what do they look for? Taxes. They want low taxes. The taxes are not low and they're rising. They want great school system. Our school system is good. I want it to be great. They want protection. We have a phenomenal police force. I want to strengthen that. We have a phenomenal fire department. I also want to strengthen that. So these are the things we're going to focus on once I'm elected.
So you want to make school great again?
I want to make school great again. I want to make
You
North
might,
Haven.
you might have a logo there.
I want to make. Well, actually, my theme of my
Catchphrase.
campaign is to make North Haven affordable again
Okay.
for everybody.
30% of North Haven, at least, are seniors. Now, the word senior, it's considered 55 and older. To me, a senior today, and I mean that with respect to seniors, is more like 75 and older. Because to what used to be 55 and older, I'm almost 55.
I'm over 55.
These guys here over here, I mean, we're not talking about 55 and older as the old people, but
Right.
75 and older homes available so they don't have to go into assisted living homes is a fantastic idea. Almost like what Florida has communities where you have, you might have a development where you have everything available to them in a community. And whether it be medical, could be social, could be,
Percent.
it's a
All
great
that.
idea. And to have the people who are 75 and older not have to go into an assisted living facility, which are the cost of I can't get the words out, an assisted facility for elderly is so astronomically high that they can't even afford to sell and move into these places. And now they have to have people living with them, these nurses, it's crazy. But if you could have it set up that people have the ability at 75 years old to sell the property and have the income from their homes and and you have to open up more real estate for first-time home buyers, second home buyers would be great.
100%. You're right on track there, David. It's really important. It all ties together. What is North Haven? It's a phenomenal community. What makes North Haven great? The location. We're a great location here in the state. We're right off the highway. I heard the current selectman mention 1 million cars a day drive through this town between the highway and the other roadways that we have. So it's a very sought after town. People like this town. They love this town that live here. Developers look at North Haven as a primary place to develop. But if taxes continue to rise, and they've been rising, like I said, 2 mills 2 years ago, 2 mills last year, and we're looking at another increase this year. I won't speculate what it's going to be because I don't know, right? I'm not elected yet. But a third increase will be detrimental to the value of this town, and future increases will be detrimental to this town. So how do we do this? Like I said, I'm going to reiterate it because it's very, very important. We have to continue to bring businesses in, developers in, okay, to develop properties, to bring more revenue into the town. So we have the money to take care of everything that we need to take care of. And, the net of it all, I know we haven't included yet, but my bottom line here, you want taxes to remain stable, the same, vote for me. You want higher taxes, vote for my opponent, because he's proven over his 16 years, he's raised taxes numerous times, not just the past 2 years.
Yeah, we've been pretty much focusing on the resident side of the taxes. But for some of the businesses in this town, even the places that are over by Universal Drive over there, I mean, the taxes start getting stupid, they're gonna start shutting their doors.
Exactly right. And,
You know?
and then the business owners, right, have leases, okay? They have leases. And someone owns that building. And when those leases come due, when they run out and want to up a new lease, they have to pay more rent now because the taxes on the building are continuing to rise.
Right.
Okay? So now you're putting stress on small businesses. And I'm a small business. I know what that feels like. We just came out of 2024 was the worst economy year in my lifetime. I safely could say that, okay? And I was able to navigate through that because I know business and I know how to make things happen. I know how to be successful, okay? So you have to look at all that because it all trickles down, and you don't want small businesses like a business owner, a building owner has 4 different businesses, and they start shutting their doors. Now he has 0 rent, and now he's gonna not pay the town the property tax on the building.
Right.
You just cannot keep raising tax. I can't emphasize it
It's a
enough.
domino effect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I use the term the town has been driven into a ditch.
You
It's gotta be
mentioned
stopped.
slightly, and I don't know if it's okay to talk about this, talk about the garbage can. Can you elaborate a little more about the garbage can situation
Okay.
in North Haven?
In the deep freeze of the night, okay,
Not a song.
there was a meeting, okay, freezing cold, January meeting to vote on a $1.2 million to buy garbage cans so an automatic arm could pick up these garbage cans. So the town has just raised taxes 2 years in a row. We're going to spend $1.2 million, so everyone gets 2 garbage cans, one for the recycling, one for the garbage. So how many towns? How many?
One can is not enough.
No,
Not enough for garbage.
you just take the words out of your mouth. How many houses in this town have multiple generations? They have a lot of people living there, okay? And you're going to give them 1 can. And if you want a second can, that's okay. Pay $300. Now it snows. You have to shovel everything out and make sure these cans are positioned appropriately so the arm can come pick them up. It is absolutely incredibly wrong. The 3rd selectman here in this town did a wonderful job, had a motion, and a motion passed 25 to 22 to table this and have a meeting in the future. Something of this magnitude shouldn't be in the dead of night in the freezing cold. Should be a referendum.
How many-
I will guarantee to everybody out there, any expenditure over $1 million will go to a town referendum because the town people should vote on it, not 20
Well,
people in a room.
You guys, when they
Period.
have these meetings, I don't care if it's January or July, if there's gonna be a meeting like that, you guys, as the selectmen, can stipulate that, we are not going to hold this meeting if we have less than 50 people in present.
Or whatever the number should be.
Because it's like, you can very easily do it in front of 2 people and just,
It just passes.
run it just through.
It just
Nobody's gonna
passes.
complain, nobody's gonna bring up anything, but you
Right.
say, hey, we're gonna do this meeting, and if we don't have more than this number of people,
Right.
we're not gonna.
Regardless if people show up or not, you have to have a minimum amount of people to show up
Right.
in order to pass this kind of a.
But budgets shouldn't be passed in meetings that affect the whole town. That night, $2.8 million was passed with 47 people voting. I was the only one that voted against it for roads. $2.8 million for a town that's raising taxes left and right to fix roads. I drive through this town all the time, every day. The roads look perfectly fine to me. Yet, again, tax and spend leadership in this town. Tax and spend, tax and spend, tax and spend. It has to end. It ends tonight.
All right, Tony, on top of being a father, a grandfather, a husband, a business owner, how do you plan on balancing all of these objectives? There's a lot on your plate.
Yeah. Well, some people stay up late. Some people get up early. I stay up late
And
and get up early. Okay. I work full time, 40, 50 hours a week in my IT business. At the same time, starting 1928, I work long hours. Okay. Now,
It's in your DNA.
it's in my DNA. Now, as first selectman in town of North Haven, that is my first priority. The residents of this town, I promise you, this is not rhetoric. This is another one of my guarantees. North Haven will come first in my life. Head of my business, head of my family, head of my church. Number 1 will be this town. Have my full attention, and I will be there every day working hard for every single person, resident, business owner in this town, developer, everybody, to provide the best possible services at an affordable price.
Tony Cuomo, running for first selectman. You're hearing it first here on the Team Powerhouse show in 2025. listen, everything you're saying sounds amazing, and the fact of the matter is, people know you. You're not new to North Haven, and you're having a chance to actually spread the word on much larger levels now. Eric, you want to say something?
No, I'm just going to say, if you could just remind everybody when's the primary and when's the election?
Took the words out of my mouth, Eric. Thank
Yeah.
you so much. Here's the way the process works. The RTC, the Republican Town Council, has to put up their endorsed candidates, which will be the current selectman will be endorsed. That happens in July, the week ending July 23rd. On July 24th, I then I could start getting paperwork and have to get X number of signatures. I don't know how many yet. And I have until August 6th. It's only 2 weeks to get proper number of signatures and turn it into the Registrar of Voters, the Republican Registrar of Voters of the town, to get it to force a primary, which is already set by the state, which is September 9th, 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. vote. I got to get the vote out, and my campaign manager and I work very hard to get the vote out. Now, once that's determined, then the winner of that primary will now be the Republican candidate come November 4th, election day. So that is the process.
You heard it first. We're excited for you.
Thank you.
Um,
I'm excited.
you know, it's good to have competition.
Did you
That
say it
I'll
was
say for
September 9th or October 9th?
September 9th.
Okay,
September
I
9th.
wrote down October 9th.
No, September 9th, yes.
Okay.
In every business, competition is important. When you are in business and you're in competition, that's when you show up. And it's good in our business, and it's good in your business, and it's good in the world of business. And it's good for you to have a chance to lay out your plan for the people to see, listen to, and have a chance to vote on. Tony
Yes, sir.
Cuomo.
Thank
Well,
you.
the passion's there, that's for sure.
Yeah, thank you. And it's democracy at its best. Any other questions? I love questions. I wish I had more questions.
The question will be coming, I'm sure, as people continue watching this.
Yep.
Yep. And stay tuned. Tony Cuomo NH is my Instagram. It's my Facebook as well. Follow me there.
I'm assuming NH is North Haven.
North Haven's
See
NH,
that?
exactly
It's
right.
in his name.
So the thing is, I'm gonna be out and about, talking to folks, talking to business owners.
Will there be a
talk-
website for
talking
people
all
to go
folks.
to see maybe interviews, podcast, information to share with people? Is that something maybe we can develop? Maybe get out there for people. Maybe just throw it out there,
Yeah.
or at least a
Well,
Facebook page.
When it comes up,
you
well,
know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with that, that's
When it
to be
comes up.
determined. Right now, I have the Instagram and the Facebook. We're gonna
Yeah.
be adding to that as we start moving forward.
Yeah.
There will be coffee and my father used to say coffee and treats at 1928 on Monday evenings, sometimes maybe Sunday afternoons, to get the community together to come to my bar and talk to me. I want to hear from you, the people out there, the voters. What are your concerns? Bring them to the table. I'm going to be very transparent. That's another issue I see with the current administration. It is not transparent. You have to communicate with folks. We just had a reevaluation happen, and all the North Haveners know they got a letter in their mailbox on a Saturday that their property went up 30 to 40%, average of 35%, and we're not notified. I will be notifying folks of everything. And like I said, any major expenditure we brought to referendum, I want the entire town to have an opportunity to vote on all major decisions in this town. Thank you very much.
1928. 1928 is the bar in Brantford. Great place. I'm just going to throw out there. There's a big event happening. There's a takeover, they call it. The
Exactly.
1928 takeover, where they're having these, I'll say, famous bartenders coming
Rome,
in
from Rome.
from Rome. Is that
Yeah.
Rome, New York?
Yeah, no, number 64 bar in the world.
In the world.
Overlooking the Coliseum in Rome, Italy.
Oh, Rome, Italy.
The owner, bar manager, and bartender are coming in September. I'm thinking about the
January.
January 24th, Friday night, from
Yeah.
7 to 10. They're taking over 1928, and they'll be serving their cocktails.
Pretty cool stuff. So if you've never been to 1928 Speakeasy Cocktail Bar in Brantford, definitely check it out. If you want to hit that event, definitely make sure you
Make a reservation.
make reservations. And you try and check them out on Facebook and also Instagram, 1928.
And Google.
and goodwill. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, it's
We're
fun.
learning a lot, and we're going to
Fun.
continue to learn more.
By fast.
It's important.
I'll be back. I'll be back.
Absolutely.
I'll be back.
It's important for you, the people, to really kind of pay attention, not kind of, but to pay attention to what's going on in your life, and especially living in the town of North Haven, and in the community you live in. Be involved. Ask questions. If you don't ask, you don't know. And if you don't ask and don't know, when something happens, it's whose fault, right?
Exactly.
You got to make the changes. You have to want the changes, and you have to kind of learn about what's happening. All right, the next part of the show, we're going to give a free tumbler to somebody. One of
We
our,
actually had a last comment.
we have a last comment over there.
It's from Nicola Dean. She said, "Go Dad."
Nicola.
Nicola.
She's a sweetheart.
It's in my corner all the time.
Absolutely, 100%. All right,
Spin that wheel.
let's go and give out a free tumbler to somebody. They're saying,
You guys aren't gonna be able to hear it.
that's all right. As long as they can hear it and they can see it, that's all that's matters.
Oh, I can
Okay.
hear
I
it.
can hear it again. Donald Andreas. Doesn't say off where.
Donald Indrius, thank you so much for being a part of our show. Winning a free tumbler, please get in touch with us so we can get the tumbler out to you. Tony, thank you so much again.
Welcome. Thanks for having me.
Excellent job today. Eric Vasquez on your far right, David Lamell here at the Team Powerhouse show every Tuesday night. We cannot wait to be a part of your lives and watch and be with us. Thank you so much. Have a great night, everybody.
Everybody, God bless.
Aloha.
Good stuff.
Still.